So we say today's topic is something called hierarchy database. So in this type of database, we are going to store the data from the parent to child relationship nodes. So if I say this is a parent, now just hold. Now is it okay? Yeah. So as I told you, the database can be stored in a form of parent-child relationship nodes. So so if this we call as a parent, then I'll be having the labels. So he's a level 1 and this is level 2. So the name itself says hierarchy. So this we call as a parent. So whichever that is there, the first node we call this as a root node. These are called as a child nodes. So we call this as a child nodes. NODES. So this we call as a root, this we call as a child. Then again it will be further distributed into again say it is level 1. So I'll be having L1 1.1, L1 1.2. Now on my screen it is showing ma it is clearly it is shown on my screen. Is it not visible now? Now? Yes, since morning it's giving the same problem to me. I don't know why it is. So we call this as a root node and this we call as a child node. Again the child node is subdivided into again parts levels. So for this is the parent. For this is a parent. So this is the root. So these are the child to this root. Then this two becomes child for this. So this becomes the root. Now on my screen it is showing again. Now it is not visible. Can you see now? So we have the levels in this fashion. So for this also we'll be having again two levels. So now this is 2.1 and 2.2. So I will be reaching from here to this particular point, then root 2 and 2.1. So like this, my data will be in a hierarchically distributed and I can store my data in this fashion. So I'll trying to distributing the data in this fashion. So previously yesterday we have seen that I have the computer and I'm trying to divide this into different parts. Then again I have the one more part. Then I have like this again. It has been sub parts like this. We have been saying about the distribution. So here we have been having distribution of the content. Now when I'm going with the hierarchy, I'll be having like tree. So this will be having one parent, one root. This is the main server. Then the two server has been divided into again two parts. So two parts will be divided into again sub two parts. So like this will go on increasing in a form of tree, what we call as a hierarchical database. So when the records are connected via each link, so if I want to reach to this particular thing, so it will be having the address like root 2 and 2.1. Now it's like an example, like this is your college address, this is your bus stop of your home address from the college address, and this is your home. So you can come to the from your college to the bus stop and you are going into your classroom. So in order to have such kind of things, I'll be having this kind of way. So what is happening over here? In order to get the data that are being connected, how I'll be connected via link. That means I'll be having an address. How I'll be having the address? Say it is f1. It is of something called 0. This is 1 and this is 2 and this is 1.1, 1.2, 2.1, 2.2. So if I want this address, I'll be having something like 0.2.2.2. So this with the help of this particular URL, say I assume that this is a link. So with this particular link, it can directly get the information from this. So each child has its own record. So everybody has its own record, and each parent record have the multiple child records. So he will be having the records of how many childs are there. So he will be having two childs. He has two childs. He has two childs. So like this, he will be having the information about that. But the child will be having every record with him, and if I want the information of the particular child, the root will going to call that particular using link. Okay, this is how it will be happen in the hierarchy database. Okay, so the root will be having the records of child and the child will be having records of others records. So like this each will be coming in one part to another. So this is about the hierarchy. Now coming to the any other database, what is another database left out? Object oriented database. So when I'm saying about the object oriented database, here the data is in a form of model. It will be stored and represent in an object and the object oriented programming language. So we are going to use the object oriented programming language to retrieve the data. That means for this we need an extra language like Java, okay, or Python or something like that. With the help of that object oriented language, we are going to get the data from this particular object. So it will in a form of some object. So with the help of that particular object, we will be going to, like, you will be finding one of the best example nowadays. If you see the new technology has been came into picture, like suppose if I want to know about this, if I want to know about this object, just I'll go to take my camera and I have the capture this with my lens, and automatically it will going to tell me about this on my screen itself. On my screen only it will going to tell, seeing this object, it will say it's in a power bank and it is having so and so copy. That means what is there inside this also it will. This is useful for most of the people like architectural department, archaeology department. They'll be searching for the rocks, they'll be searching for the innovative thing that has been left over by our ancestors. So for them, they have what they will going to do. They will going to use an artificial intelligence and along with an object oriented of the data, because the artificial intelligence is going to back end is object oriented, because the data will going to come on that particular. So the artificial intelligence will going to scan this. Like suppose I'll be going with an object, I'll be searching any object. So if I'll put out over here, so I want to know what is about this. So I'll be going to capture this with my camera lens, and automatically it will going to give me that this is the information, this is a pen, and it has been used by so and so person, and it has been manufactured. That all details I'll be going to get. So this is what object oriented database. So I'll be, as I told you in the yesterday, that once we finish this all topics, I'll be going with an examples how this will work. So actually no, I didn't find those things. I'm sorry, he was like whatever I explained in the same fashion other tutor, other faculties also explained, but I didn't find the original. So I called my one of my friend and the student who is working in the MNC company. So I asked them that I need how that really the distributed and central database will going to maintain. They said they'll going to show me the live. So if once I get it, I'll be showing you live, like how they will going to maintain this, how this happens in the backend process. So these are all our backend process. As I told you in the beginning itself, like our nervous system is then a backbone for our body. Similar fashion, databases are acts as a backbone for every software. So it is always used for the storing purpose. So in what way you are going to store, it's left to the depending upon your architecture. Okay, so this is what the about your hierarchy database, object oriented database, central database, distributed database, and we have seen the various advantage and disadvantage of that. Then we'll be coming across with an architecture. Once we finish the architecture, then we'll be going to know the exact idea about the what is meant by database. Okay, I'll just show you the architecture of the database. So we'll see the DBMS architecture. So it has been split into three parts: one tier, two tier, three tier. Now, where you this kind of word you have been listening? Do you have any idea about two tier, three tier, one tier? Anybody can guess? Did you? We will be in this. Huh? This kind of word. Uh-huh. Yes, beta. Railway, right? Very good, very good. We'll be having one tier bogie, two tier bogie, three tier bogie. Okay. Why we use that one? Do you have anything difference between this one tier, two tier, and three tier? No, facilities. Only that is main is facilities. Like if you go for two tier and three tier, you will be having the AC, then you will be having a separate room, bathroom, and everything, like for washing rooms and everything. It will be totally for like most popular the VIPs, and all the people will be booking that. No, even we can also go for that. But the thing is that little bit expensive. Though it is an expense also, you will be like it's like like how we are living in my home. The similar fashion you will be using that particular two tier and three tier, where you'll be having AC with the TV and all the facilities will be provided into that. That means I know no need to go here and there. I can sleep. My bed will be the cool. Like here, if you go with a normal sleeper, you will be finding lot of people will be coming here and there. There will be rush. The washrooms will not be clean because it isn't everybody can be using that one. So like that, you will be facing that kind of problem. But here, you won't have that kind of. So nobody will going to interrupt you. Okay, there is no disturbance. And once you start your destination, okay, once you reach the destination, then immediately you can get it on from there. So like this, you have some little bit of facilities comparing to the sleeper class and all. So like this also, the DBMS has been started with a three-tier architecture. By default, DBMS means itself is a first one-tier architecture. Okay, normally we can say we have only two kinds of architecture, that is two tier and three tier, and by default one is the one tier architecture. Now we will see what is one tier architecture, two tier architecture, and three tier architecture. So here the tier means you should not write DTIRE. This is not the tire. This tire is your vehicle wheel. Okay, so we are using something called TIER. Okay, so this kind of tire we will be having. So architecture will be same. Now coming to the one tier architecture, how it will be? It is directly available to the user. This is directly available to the user. It means user can directly sit on the database and uses it. That means he can use this directly by using or sitting onto that. That means is it's like my personal laptop or my system where I am putting everything over here. That means I can access directly here too. So it's like my personal computer. So I'm using my own personal computer where I'll be having directly installed. So any changes that we are doing, so if I'm doing any transactions or any changes I'm doing directly, it will be updated. So there is no interface, right? It does not provide any handy tool for end users. What do you mean by that? Because you are only using this, you are only storing this. So there is no like interface for this where the layman is the other user, because we are using for the database for what purpose? For the backend purpose. Can we see our nervous system? Can I see my backbone? Can I anybody can see that backbone unless until you cut it and you just open do that. That means you have to do the operation, then only the doctor can view what is happened to your nervous system. But other than that, it is covered by skin, flesh, and blood. Okay, so similar fashion, it is covered, all the database has been covered. So these are all our backend, we cannot see this. So interface is what? I am the human being where I can say that okay, I am moving, I'm sitting, this is all worked on my nervous system, but physically I cannot see what is the how the it looks. But seeing the infrastructure, so the infrastructure is what here? My body. So my body itself attached to that. So like that, I will be having my own computer and directly I'll be going to do the changes, it will load. So there is no user to use it, so it is not flexible to the user, it is convenient for me. So maximum applications which will be developed on this only. Okay, it will not put it on somewhere. That means the programmer, as I am the programmer, directly communicate with this database quick response. So I'll get the quick response because no other users will be there, no other extra persons will be there. I will be having only one computer. So those who want, you will come and use it and just store. So that means everything will be stored here. So there will no other person to come get the request, respond. That kind of things are not there. So that's why we call this as a one tier architecture. Now when I'm say coming to the two tier architecture, here we'll be like we'll be having one client, one will be having one server. So this is your client, this is your server. So I'll be having to and fro motion. So it's like a client server, looks like a client server. So how it will be? The applications are the on the client. That means I will be using some client, like you will be having something called a browser. Google Chrome is a browser. So with the help of browser, you are just trying to type the information. What is the information you are typing? Say that I need some information. What is about database management? So I'll go to the Google Chrome and I'll be typing the inbox about database management system. So once I type immediately, what happens? I'll going to get the information related. So from where it is coming, so and so system. So like that, I will be having an application in my computer. With that application, I'm connecting to this and I'll get the information from this. So this is what we call as a two-tier architecture. So what is happening? The client directly communicate with the database on the server side. So that means this is the server and directly I communicate. That means application will be here. Previously, what happens in the one tier? Application is here, database is also here. So I'm doing everything over here. But here, applications will be here, database will be here. Okay, so with the interface, I'll be using some ODBC, JDBC. So I'll be using something called ODBC or JDBC. So abbreviation of ODBC, JDBC is Object Oriented Database Connectivity. It is Java Database Connectivity. Okay, so these are like acts like a driver. Like you will be having, you are just getting into the bus, so you are been standing at one place, you are standing at one place, you are waiting for the bus, you are just getting into the bus. The driver who will going to drive you, and he will going to reach you to the destination. So driver is what here, he is in a ODBC and JDBC. Okay, it's like he'll be act like a driver to reach you to the destination. So he knows how to drive it. He knows how safely to make you to reach to the destination. So like that, the you will be having. So you are the clients. You will be having the applications. You are being connected to the server. Then the server will going to take care of to get the information. So it will going to convert. So the link, because this has been server database, we are using something called MySQL. So I'll be using something called MySQL. I'll be using Oracle, whatever the DBMS or RDBMS packages you are using, this software you are using, this has been developed in some other language. See, I go to the Bawarchi, the biryani taste will be different. If I go to any other hotel, the biryani taste is different. Okay, ingredients, because why? Because ingredients are different. The people, the person who go for the bawarchi, his hand may be the like salt and all the ingredients whatever he wants to add, his way of methodology of preparing is different, his way of methodology of preparing is different, but ultimate what I am getting, I am getting the biryani, right? Now depending upon the taste you will get, but the phenomena is same, process of cooking is same. So you have to remember, see, here he is adding his own flavors, here he is adding his own flavors, but process is same. What is the process? Say like, make your rice 1 hour before you put it in the water, for 1 hour or 2 hours you just keep it, take, get your non-veg or vegetables, marinate it, put it in for half an hour. These all things are same. Putting off your stove on and just cooking and everything, but the thing is that procedure is same, but adding of ingredients are different from person to person. Similar fashion, ODBC and JDBCs are the APIs. These are the application interface. Okay, application interface, depending upon them you are going to get. So as I told you the example bus driver, so some bus driver will be like, you will be having you may have heard about this, like the people who drive the lorries, they will be most convenient to lorry only in the night hours, and they will be sleeping in the entire day, and night they will be drive very smoothly. And most of the people like us, we are hesitant to drive in night hours, and they are ready to drive on night hours on the hills. And if you see, like any goods or any vehicle, if it comes, it will travel along an entire month from one state to another. Maximum it will take only in the night hours. So they will going to do the journey in the night hours. So he is also driving, we also driving, but what is the difference? He'll be driving the night, I'll be driving in the morning hour. So that is how it is the difference, but driving is the common. Okay, he drive on the way on the hills, I will drive on the normal roads. Okay, I'll drive on the Hyderabad roads, he drive on the US roads. So there is a difference. So based upon the usage, the convenient, the we will be having client server architecture. So user interface and the applications are run on the client. So applications will be running on this. Evardinto Ramaroyalu. Okay, so he will be having the interface, that is application interface will be there. Server will be going to have the responsibility. Now this is the person who will take the responsibility, his functionalities. Now what is his responsibility? You are putting the query, he is giving the answer. You are asking something, he is giving the answer. So this is how the transactions will apply in the two-tier architecture. So maximum what you will do, as I given the example in the Google Chrome, I'll just type the information. Immediately the server will respond to you saying that this whatever the information you are asking is this information you are searching for. So like that, I'll be having interface. I'll put the question, the server is ready to give. So response a request will be sent by you and response will be sent by client. This is how the two-tier architecture will work. Okay, right? So this is, we call this as a server side, this we call as a client side. Sorry, this we call as a client side, this we call as server side. Okay, so this is what happens in the two-tier architecture. One tier, everything is over here, no user interaction will be there, and it is not that much handy with your user end. But here it will be user end friendly. I'll be having the server and I'll be having, so that means no burden on my system. So why we are moving from here? Because every burden is over here. So application is here, database is here, everything is over here. So there is no burden, heavy burden on this. But here I'm trying to share my burden by removing the client side applications here and putting the only database. Just he'll communicate with this APIs, with this API. Why these APIs are required? Because as I told you that this MySQL and Oracle has been developed on their own platform, and in order to understand this too, I need a mediator. I need a mediator to translate. Like I speak English, he speak French. Say example. So I will be sending the information that the server cannot understand my French language. So I need a mediator who will going to translate this French to in English and English to a French. So who is the mediator over here? Your DBMS and ODMS. So as I given the another example, bus example, driver is the person who will going to take you to the destination. So he is the mediator who is taking you, picking from the from the different locations, and he is trying to departure. Okay, so departure and destination. So what is he doing? He is acting like a mediator. So similar fashion in the two-tier architecture, this is what happens. Okay, right? Now going to the three-tier architecture. Now going to the three-tier architecture. So what is happening over here in the three-tier architecture? We'll be having another layer. So we'll be having another layer. So this is your server. This is your client. Okay, this is your server, this is your client. Now I will be having your database. I have my database. Here I will be having the user. In the client means the user will be having application. User will be having application of his client side application will be there. So we call this an application client. So user will be having his own application. Server has a database and it is having its own application. Server has its own application, client has its own application. See, this is what the difference. If you see here, everything is over here. Then we shifted to two-tier, making only one from client, one is for server. So client and the server, only two-way architectures. Coming to the third, what is happening? Client is there, server is there. This is common. But what I'm doing in the clients, I'm making two partitions. In the server, again, I'm making two partitions. Now, what is the necessary? We'll see. So this is how it will. So communication is client server is going on. Communication is client server is going on. But client now has been split into two. That is, he is having his own. I will be having. He is also client and he is having his own application. Then coming over here, this is the database and he is also his application. Now how I will be going to this within a real life? Say our me seva is there. Okay, we have some me seva application. Now this is three-tier architecture. I can say why? Because See, I have the client side application. I have my own client side application. Example, I'll tell you. See, this is client side. Now the client, what the client is doing, he will be filling the form. What kind of form he will be filling? Say, I want to apply for my caste certificate. So in order to apply the caste certificate, what I'll do? I will go to this particular Me Seva website or my the particular application. There I'll try to fill the details, my name, my father name, my residential address, my caste, name of my caste, then serial number about that. Okay, then my address, from how many years I am staying over there. Okay, proofs. Then my school from so and so year to so and so year. Like this, all I'll try to furnish with my Aadhaar numbers, ration card, whatever he asks. So he the caste certificate has his own pro forma. According to that, I'll put all the information and I'll submit and on paying of some amount. Now this is what my client side application. Now this is what I have done. Now he will be saying your work has been got finished. And now he will be trying to give the receipt that you have been paid so and so amount and you applied for the your CS, that is your cash certificate. Okay, now your work has been done. Then you says that after 15 days or 10 days or 7 days you come and you collect it. For that you no need to what you call move around the mandal office or something like that. You will be getting a SMS. You check that SMS that whether you received your caste or certificate. It will give the status of that whether it has been received or not, what happened to your certificate, whether it is rejected. All will be going to get your to your mobile. So don't worry, no need to come. Once you see that, you again you visit to our Me Seva, show that number, whatever the receipt I have given, you hand over it, then he'll give the CS certificate. Now this is what the job of the Me Seva, right? Now what happens to the, now this has become client. So client has been now putting all the information to the server because your data has been stored. So you have been sending all the details through this interface. So you are using with some GUI, you have been developed that particular site or some application. With that help of that, you are storing this information into the database. So he has become the server, right? Now what the server will be doing? He will be having his own application. What is the purpose of that? Because he need to cross verify your application, the application which has been stored over here, because he will not going to give blindly. Once you send it, he has to cross verify all this, then only you will get the certificate. In order to get the certificate, he has to cross verify your certificate. So in order to have his certificate verification, he will be having his own application, he will be having his own environment where he'll going to log in into that, and he'll check all the things. Okay, whether his name is correct, is it valid with your ration card, is it valid with your Aadhaar card, and all the details he'll be furnishing. Whether you whatever your photos and the video photos and the application you have been uploading is are going to match it with this, whether this person is genuine or not, everything will be cross verified. So to cross verify, he will be having also one application there. There he'll be cross verifying, and also he'll be doing the back end process. What is the back end process? He'll send two or three people to your home. In the case of SCST, they'll not going to give directly the certificate, they'll going to send two or three persons to inquire about this person, inquire about this particular client, near, not directly to you, your neighbors. So they'll go and contact, they'll gather the information about you by contacting your neighbors. Now this is another backend process has been done. So backend verification is done. Then once the report has been given, he will open that application, he'll see all this and just he'll say tick mark, yes, everything is correct, everything is correct, everything is correct. Then he will submit S button. That means from my side I verify this details whatever he furnished it is correct. Then this application, that means again whatever he has done, it will be stored in the database. Your information has been stored in the database. He has done some verification, he also update the things. That is, this is something like you have the table. So you have the table like this, as I told you that RDBMS will going to store your information in a form of rows and columns. So like this you have the information. Yeah. So say here this is your roll number, this is your number. your name, your Aadhaar number, your name, your mobile number, your address, your contact details, everything. Reservation, that is your SC, ST, BC, like this, you will be there. Now these are things you have been submitted. So that means these all things has been submitted by you like this. Then he will be having one application. He will be checking all this. He'll put tick mark, tick mark, tick mark in his application. Then he'll submit. Again, where it is storing in the database. So when it is storing, then here it will be updated. Here the data is updated. Here this all data has been filled by you. Now, what is my duty? I have to fill this. I have to fill this duty. Who will going to do? The verification officer. What he'll do? He will be having his own application. Open it, check it, background process he'll do, and everything once it's finalized, he will put it. Say yes. Then that S will be here updated. It will not inserted. When you are doing, you are inserting. When he is doing, it is updated, because he will not going to do the new thing. It is going for the old one. Why? Because this is the old data which has been sent by you. I have to cross verify and I have to modify this. How I am modifying? Yes, this application is correct. No, this application is wrong. Like this, whatever the interface he has, is, as I told you, he has his own application. Using that particular application, he cross verify and he'll put it in the database. Then that database will be saying yes. Once it has been done, all the information has been corrected, then again it will be triggered out. Then it will be sent to the me seva. Once it is sending the me seva, this server, it will say send the information to the me seva, nearby me seva, and automatically it will going to send you the SMS saying that it has been approved, your data has been approved, or your certificate has been rejected, whatever it is. It will give the status to you. Then immediately you rush to the me seva and you collect the seal. Now this is how your three-tier architecture works. This is how the three-tier architecture will going to work. Any doubt regarding the three-tier architecture? Is it clear? Okay. So architecture of the database, how many? We have three. So we have one tier architecture, two tier, and three tier. By default is one. So where I'll be having everything on my single database. So there is no interaction of the user. But coming to the two, we have two. One is server and the client. So server will have only the application. Client will not have any application. Just he will have the only database. With the help of ODBC and JDBC, he will be having a mediator which is going to translate your both the language. So as I told you, the best example, he knows the English, he knows French. He will be translating the two languages so that he can understand his own language, he can understand his own language. So like this, a mediator will going to take care of whatever you are requesting. He will be sending by translating that particular thing, because as I'm telling, this is like a bridge. So it will be connecting these two systems like a bridge. So is an mediator which is going to translate. Now coming to the three-tier architecture, what is happening? I have my own application. Your server also have his own application. He will fill the application. Then he also check the application whether the whatever the information he has been furnished by him, whether it is correct or not, genuine or not. Then based upon that, he'll update the database. Then the database will going to reply to the client saying that yes, your data has been got approved, you can just collect the certificate. This is how you are going to work within a three-tier architecture. Okay, just 2 minutes you give me. I'm get my throat has been become thirsty. Thank you. Is my screen is visible, ma? Okay. Now, this is what the first part, as I told you in the beginning, that in the first unit we have to concentrate on the architecture. So we have been finished our architecture concept. Then what is the next more foremost important in this particular unit was I told you. What is that? Constraints. Then what is another one? Yeah, diagrams. So first we'll go with the diagram, then we'll go to the then we move to the constraints so that you can able to understand the concept. Okay. So what is that? We'll be seeing about the data models. Okay. So we'll see some of the data models. So the data models, so one of the important data models is something called ER data models. What is that? ER data models. So what is this ER stands for? ER means entity relationship data model. So ER means entity. So entity relationship data model. Okay. So when I'm saying entity, entity is nothing but object. So I can be object, you can be object, telephone can be object, computer can be object, whatever that are being found surrounding us, we can have the object. So we can have such kind of objects for which we are going to represent those objects in a form of pictorial diagrams. Okay. So logical representation of data. Again, now why is on how I am looking this on. If I'm not, then it will not work now. No, no. Who is on it? I'm only the person who is the presenter. I'm getting everybody's resound. Not only myself, everybody's getting resound. Your voice also I'm getting resound. Now I did nothing over here. It automatically it has been stopped. Okay. So how I'm going to use this entity relationship? So the logical representation. So I'll be representing my objects in logical way, and I'll be going to have the relation between the objects. So suppose I have to collect this one. So if I say this is a object on this, I'll be saying that what is the connection between this and my mobile. So I'll be establishing the connection and I'll be telling the relation between these two. So for this, I have to identify the object. So object is nothing but entities. Then relationship is nothing but association among these entities. So association means what is this between these two, the logic, what is the logic that has been observed between these two, that is my mobile and the power bank. So these are the two things. So these are the two different what do you call objects. I'm trying to link. How I'll be going to link this? I am telling that this is the power bank which is going to charge my mobile. So what is this charge? Charge is the association relationship which is going to say that, that means the charge is a word or the charge is a link which is going to say that there is a relation between these two objects. Like this I'll be going to find out this kind of information with this relationship data model. So here I'll be explaining what is the relation between. So logically I'll be trying to sort out that the charger is the person, or the charger is the thing which is going to connect these two objects. That is, there is relation between these two objects. So how I can tell? This is how I'll be telling you. Okay, so charging. So like that I'll be trying to tell that, okay, I have my pen, okay, I have a paper. So what I'll do, the pen will going to draw or write, use for writing onto the paper. So paper is an object, pen is an object, writing is the relationship which is going to combine these two objects. So the two object has been linked by saying writing, drawing, something like that. So like that there is some association. So there is some entity, the relation is associated with this object, linked to this particular object. Like this has been explained. So this kind of relationship has been explained by one of the famous author called Peter Chen. So he is a person in his 1976, in papers, one of his paper he has published article. In his article in 1976 he has published, so name of person is Peter Chen. In that he has elaborated that to explain the entity relationship I should have to say that entity is nothing but an object, okay, and we have another object which will going to combine these two, which is going to combine these two by saying that there is a connectivity between these two. Some connectivity is there which is going to say that this is related to this is related to this. So some bridge kind of communication you are trying to link between these two objects is nothing but entity relationship. So logically I am explaining this one, so that that is what we call as an entity relationship. Okay, so we are been having some things. How I'll be explaining? Now I'll be given one example. We are called as student, I called as a teacher. So you have the name, you have an ID, we call this as a student entity. I am a faculty, I have a name, I have an ID, so I call as a faculty entity. Okay, any doubt? So if you say college, so college has a name, college has a center ID, college has a location. So this is college entity. So entity means object. Okay. So the set of same type of entity. Okay. The set of same type of entity known as entity set. The same type of entity. That means I am the same type entity, you are all the same. That means I have the name, you also have them. I am also have an ID, you also have an ID. College is an also have a name, college also have an ID. So like this we call all this as a entity set. We call this as a entity set. And the same thing, I am a teacher, you are the student, that is a college. So I will teach you, you will study in the college. So teaching is my relationship which is going to mingle with you and me. That means the relation has been established between you and me. How it has been established? By saying teaching. Then how the college has been established between you and the college? You go to the college, you study in the college. So studying and going is the making the words which is going to link the college. Then how I am linking the college? Because I am from that particular college. I am from that particular college. That is my teaching college where I'll be teaching. That means that is the place where I teach, okay, to my students. So I am the employee of that particular college. So again I am a relationship. So such kind of relationship, whatever that is established among these three entities, we call as a relationship set. So we have something called entity set, we have something called relationship set. Got it? Entity set, relationship set. So what is entity set? If we have same kind of model, or if we have same kind of features, so the object has same entities. So as I told just now, I have a name, I have an ID, you also have the name, you also an ID. So like this all together we call those as, so student's ID, student name is student entity. Faculty name, faculty id is a faculty entity. Okay, right? But similarity, if we find, okay, he is also having the same features, I have also same features, then all together we call as the entity set. Then teaches you, studies you, go to the college, okay, I am the employee of the college. Like this, these are making me to connect those objects, so we call that as a relationship set. Okay, so because these are very important, so if you understand this, then only we can understand this relationship. Then based upon that, we will be having pictorial diagram. So we have to, when you go with this particular topic, we'll be having all will be have to use with the pictorial diagram. So we'll be having data, so you have to identify the objects. So if now onwards itself, from today onwards, you have to start thinking about the whatever the objects that are there in surroundings to you. You have to find the object and its characters, so we call those are attributes. So you have to find the object, and you have to see the what is the similarity, the same object that you find. Like as I told you just now, you have the name, I have the name, I also have an id, you also an id, so you have been comes under same entity. Like that, you have to go to your home, sit as you are in the home only, so you sit at your home. When you see your surroundings, you identify the objects, and you try to find that which comes under the same entity set. Then you try to establish the relation between those objects, then you can understand this concept. Once you understand the concept, then we start the figuring out that particular thing. Once you got figuring out, then we start the third unit, where we'll going to write the coding part to store the information about that particular object which we found it. So like this, your process will start. So if you do this only, then we can understand that practically you can do such kind of things by finding out the thing. So I'll give the time, in that meanwhile you have to do this. Okay, so right now I'm not telling you to do that, but you have to, meanwhile you just try to gather the entity set and relationship set. So these two things you have to do from now on. That means thinking of the things, and you just put it on the paper. That's okay. Whenever I ask, at that time you should be ready to keep and show it that, okay sir, this has been, these are the things we have been identified, these are the relationship we have been identified. Okay, right. So now we'll see the models of your entity. So as I told you, what is ER? It's an entity relationship model to define the data. Okay, so my data is there, I am trying to define the data elements and relationship between that. So object is there, I am having the data on this. So what kind of data is there? Here we have seen the object, so I have been observing this object carefully. I am observing, okay, this is power bank. Oh, so how it is being say, okay, I'll be checking here and there. Okay, I find one button over here. So this is one information I got, and another information I got, something like I have this mi is there. Then I'll be checking over here, and then it is giving some information about this. Then this have something like made in China and all the things like this I'll be having. Then it will be having something like buttons, and like this I'll be analyzing. Now this is the data I got from this object. Are you following? Now I got this, then I'll be collecting the mobile or any other thing. Then again I'll be trying to get the content. So I'll be defining that particular object data. Then I'll be starting relating this to object. This is how I'll be going to develop the conceptual design. We call such kind of things, we call as a conceptual design. So what you are doing, you got the objects, you are defining the data, you are trying to get the data from this and this. So data in the sense, you are just observing the object and you are trying to define the data. So then you are trying to analyze the relationship. Once you do this kind of things, it develops the conceptual design. Okay, you may go to the architecture, he'll be saying, I papa, you are making the papa, I'm very happy, you are building the big independent house for us. So I need personal room, I hear there I need some cupboards, I need this. That means you are trying to tell your father or the architecture so and so modification. So he is going to do the architecture design. Such kind of things we call as a design for the architecture. Similar fashion, we are trying to do all these things. We are doing to do all these things with which we call as a conceptual design. Okay, so if you do this, then you are almost or you have done your ER modeling structure. Okay, you have been almost done the. So if you see the architecture, like if you go to any building architecture, they'll be having something like this. You'll be having one box, then you'll be having one kitchen box. So you'll be saying this is east corner, you'll be have to go with a kitchen. Here you'll be having washrooms, this is your master bedroom. Like this, you'll be telling about all this with diagrams. And here you'll be having staircases. You, if you want internal staircases, you can put it. And if you want to go, you will be having some balcony like this. He'll be explaining everything in a form of architecture with all pictorial diagram. Similar fashion, in ER diagram also we have some pictorial diagram. Okay, so how we'll be doing, we'll be identifying this. So as I told you, that one example, say that entity set. Just now I've been telling about the entity set and about the relation. So coming to the entity set, in the entity set, what I told, similar things that you are being identifying. What is the similar thing you identify? Student entity. So I'm telling student entity. So student entity is a entity, it's an object. So to that object I am telling that it object has some features. What is the features? He is having name, he is having address, he is having contact number. Okay, he is having some gender. Okay, he is having address. Like this, he I will be trying to analyze about that particular student entity. Okay, so if I am getting such kind of information, say name, pin code, contact number, address, like this, I'll be having all these things I gathered about that particular entity. Okay, so when I'm doing that one, how I'll be represent on the picture. So if I want to represent those things, I'll say this is my student. So he is the student. I told you this is a student. Now what is having? He is having ID. He is having name. He is having address. He is having contact number, like this. Then I'll put it this in a circle. So now this has become ER modeling diagrams. So this has become your ER modeling diagrams. So what are the things you've seen observe here? You observe one box, a rectangle box. You have seen oval box and some lines. These are the things he has been identified, and in that you identify some names. Okay, here I am not storing that ID means 101, name means Devender, address means Hyderabad, and contact number I'm not giving 9948 something like that. So here I'm not providing the information that you have to remember, because I identify the student. So Pravalika is the student, Shana is the student, and some other people are have the names are there. So those are all comes under student category. They have all the student have the ID, all the student have the name, all the people has some address, all the people has their contact number. Then we comes together, we call as an entity set. We call those all people as an entity set because these are all comes under one category, student. Okay, so how I'll be designing those students? So I'm saying entity should be rectangle, then attribute, it's an oval. Okay, then connections, I need some lines, this is relation. So like this, I am trying to represent. So instead of writing some hundreds of lines or the thousands of lines explaining about this in simple diagram, I can seeing this, a layman can understand. Okay, this is one box. Okay, this is a student. He is having this kind of things. Okay, this is the diagram. Okay, very good. I understood. No need to explain about the database. Okay, so I am trying to model my information in this by representing ER diagrams. Okay, so these are the things. So what are the components of the ER diagram? How I'll be using these commands or diagrams? So we should know about the components. What are the components of ER diagram? So you will be having the some components. What is that? If I say ER model, so if I say ER model, what I will be having three things. What are the three things you find here? One is entity, one is attribute and relationship. Three things you identified. Got it? So we have three things. So I have entity, I have attributes. So when I'm saying attribute is nothing but characteristics. Characteristics, you have to remember about the, okay, that object is there, it has its some characters or features, something like that. Okay, so I have a relationship. Now again, in this entity I have a strong entity and weak entity. We'll learn about this about in depth of this in tomorrow's class. Just you understand the concept. So we have entity, in this we have strong entity and weak entity. Then coming to the attributes, we have key attribute, we have key attribute, we have something called derived attribute, derived attribute, we have something called multi-valued attribute, then we have something called composite attribute. So we'll see what are this. So this is, we have weak and strong entity. So we have weak entity and we have strong entity. Attributes, we have key attribute, derived attribute, multi-valued attribute, composite attribute. Then coming to the relationship, I have one to one, I have one to one, I have one to many, I have many to many, I have many to many, I have many to one. Okay, what are those? We have one to one, we have one to many, we have many to one, and we have many to many. So this all comes under the ER model. So ER model is divided into three parts, as I told you: entity, relationship, attribute. Okay, then coming to the attribute, we have composite, multi-valued, derived, and key. So you can see like this. Then coming to the relationship, I can have one to one. So this is one to one only. This person is linked to this. I have one to many. Okay, I can say this is one to one. One to many means this is one and I have many, like this. Then many to one. So I can have, if you take reverse of this, so these are many people, they have only one relationship. Then many to many, so I should draw many entities or something like that, then I have to have link with all the things. So like this I have the relationship in this fashion. Okay, any doubt regarding this? Now how I'll be doing this one? So we'll see the how I'll be representing this one, how I'll be representing this in a diagram, how I'll be representing this in a diagram, and how I'll be representing this in a diagram. One by one we'll be doing. Okay, now if I say entity is an object, entity is an object. So as I told, this is an object, this is an object, this is an object, like this I am telling about the object. So object is nothing but a class or a person or a place. So it can be any object. So entity can be any object. It can be any class, or it can be a person, or it can be a place. So entity can be an object, can be a class, can be a person, can be a place. So for this, anything that you find surrounding a place, Hyderabad is a place, Devandar is a person, okay, and you can take anything that has been related to the class. Object, a picture is an object. So like this I have been entity. So for this I'll be using the diagram in my ER is rectangle. So you have to remember I have to use the diagram as a rectangle. So we are using this one as a rectangle. Say example, manager is an a person. Product is an a object. Department is what? It's a class. Okay, so like this you can identify the object and you can represent such kind of things in a rectangle box. You can represent this in a box. Okay, now I'll take student. So student is an a entity. Now I'll go with the a faculty. So I am the teacher is a entity. So you are the entity, I am also entity. Now how I'll be linking these two? By saying that I teaches, I teach RDBMS. So teacher teach RDBMS, which is linking you by students. So I will be putting some diagram by linking like this. Now to represent the relationship, we have the diagram called diamond. We have to use this diagram. Okay, I'm very poor at diagram beta. Conceptual I am very good, but coming to the pictorial diagram and my handwriting is not good. Sorry for that, excuse for that. So I had to represent any relationship with diamond shape, rhombus shape. Okay, so I have to represent this like this. So with the help of seeing this, I can able to understand, okay, this is an entity which has been represented in a rectangle. This is an entity, this is represented in a rectangle. I have been connecting two lines, okay, with the help of the relation. So the content that has been written says that, okay, this is a relation between these two people, okay, teachers. So here there is a relation. What is teachers? RDBMS. So a relation has been established between two. So in order to represent that thing, we are going to use the diamond shape. We are going to use the diamond. So for entity, I'll be using rectangle box. For relationship, I'll use the diamond shape. Okay, these are the things you have to remember, beta. Now, right now, our relations I am not explaining. Yeah, right now it is one-to-one relation only. Okay, okay. Now, this is about the entity. Okay, so entity how will be representing rectangle? You have to remember. Okay, in ER diagram, when I say entity, it is a rectangle box. You have to remember. Okay, done. That is done. Then when I'm taking relationship, I should have the diamond shape. Okay, right. That is fine. Then if I want some lines, I have to put the lines for that. Okay, that is an optional point to link it. Okay, connecting. Then I told you that entity has a weak entity. Now entity has a weak entity. So weak entity is what? Weak means I am not weak. Okay, right? It is like depends on another entity. So we have something called weak entity. It means that that entity is depend on somebody. So as I told you yesterday, referential, like regarding the integrity, I told. If you remember the concept, data integrity, there I told in referential integrity. What is that? It will doing. It is trying to depend on some others so that the parent cannot delete that particular who has been depend on that. So the other department cannot delete the data because it is a child. So child is depend on the parent. So how I'll represent that in the diagram? I'll be representing such kind of diagram with double rectangle. I'll be using such kind of diagram. Okay, I'll be using this kind of diagram. So weak entity can be represented like this. So it means that this person is depend on others. See, something like I have a loan. Now loan is an entity. Loan is an entity. Now installment also an entity. So if I take the loan, I have to pay the installment. So it is an entity. But what kind of entity? It is a weak entity. Why it is weak entity? Because installment is depend on loan. I'll pay 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, 48 months. I'll go on paying the loan. That means this is an installment is an entity which is been depend on the loan. That's why we call as a weak entity. So some people, those who are depend on somebody, they are called as weak. When we call strong, we call those people those who are not depend on others. So if you are depend on your parents, then you are being called as a entity. Which what kind of entity? Weak entities. When you stood on your own, then if you are working on somewhere or doing something, you gather the first class and everything, whatever the efforts you put it, you got a gold medal and the things that are all your own efforts. So that you have become the strong entity. If you are depending on some other person, then you are become weakened. So from tomorrow onwards, you play the game like this. Hey, you write the notes for me, I write the notes for you. You give something for me, I'll give something. So then you talk like this. You are dependent, you are weak entity, you are weak entity, you are weak entity. If you start like this the conversation, then you will be understand, okay, once we depend on somebody, then we call as a weak entity. If I'm stood on myself, I'm strong entity. I'm trying to link with you, so I give the diamond to you. You give me the diamond. So diamond is the shape which is going to make you the relation between you and me. So I should remember this diagram, such kind of thing. So this is how I'll be trying to write. So if I'm using double rectangle, it's a weak entity. If I'm writing a single entity, it's in a strong entity. So strong entity is represented by single entity. The weak entity will be represented by the double entity. That means this is depend on this. That's why we call this as a weak entity. Done. So about this is the entity. Now coming to the attribute. So coming to the attribute. Are you getting bored? क्या बेटा, बोर लग रहा है क्या? Interesting or not? No answer. I'm not getting any answer from your side. Okay. Now, when I'm saying attribute, it is going to describe the property of the attribute. So as I told, power bank. Now seeing this, automatically I'm going to get what is this? It is having some label. It is having label. I'm not telling what kind of label it is. It is mi label. No, I have label. I have button. I'm not saying on off button. So when I'm saying on off button, you are giving the information. I'm not giving the information. I have to tell that when I'm analyzing this is button. When you're saying that it is on and off button, you are giving the information. So I'm not giving the information. I'm telling button, label, then connections. Okay, connections. So like this, I am giving the property of the entity, characteristics of this entity. So I am the person, Devendra. So looks black. Okay, like looks fat. So this is what I'm giving the information. I'm giving the information. So you have to identify what is information, what is property. So like that, you have to think. So when I'm saying I'm fat, I'm black. What are these? This is information. When I say color, it's a property. Personality, it's a property. Now you got the what do you mean by attribute? What, students? You got what is attribute now? It is clear. So you should be very keen observation you have to do. So what is object? Okay, what is attribute? You have to be very careful. Okay, if something is depend on something, we call entity. Then whatever the properties that comes from the entity, we called as an attribute. So how I'll be using this attribute? Oval shape. It's in a oval shape. So as I given the previous example, I am identifying the object. So this is a